Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Curse of Oak Island possibly near breakthrough in garden shaft. The Curse of Oak Island might be on the verge of a huge breakthrough this season. The team has spent much of the season working on drilling down at the garden shaft in the money pit. This might have finally come to fruition when they found what might be evidence of an actual tunnel system far underground. Here is what the team found and how it connects to a previous discovery on the island. Curse of Oak Island possibly nearing a huge find underground. The most recent episode of The Curse of Oak Island didn't have much action, but it was still a great episode. This was because the team learned something that could finally prove a previous theory. However, the bad news is that time is running out this season, and it might be something that has to wait for the team to discover. Earlier this season, the guys hired the Dumas Elite Mining Company to excavate the area around the garden shaft. This was frustrating since the Canadian government shut them down. The government considered this to be a mining operation, and the team needed new permits. Luckily, they got the permits and dug down to create a 91-foot shaft. Once they reached 91 feet down, they discovered something exciting. The team began an exploratory search for anything that could be hidden underground, and they ended up almost stuck behind what seemed like a wall they couldn't break through. However, once they did, they believed they hit a tunnel. This was huge news because it was at the 95-foot mark that they found what they suspected was a tunnel in the Baby Blob. This tunnel could connect to the Baby Blob. Earlier this season, the team was working on an area called the Baby Blob. This was a small area Dr. Ian Spooner believed could contain precious metals on the island. After digging down there, they hit a lot of wood, which indicated an underground structure. At that time, the guys believed that the Baby Blob tunnel was headed straight toward the garden shaft. This could prove that fact. However, they still haven't broken through yet to see what might be inside this possible tunnel. There was even talk on the show that this wasn't a tunnel, but a vault. That would be huge because they could be on the verge of finding treasure. However, they struggled to drill through and still don't know what is on the other side. The worst part is that time is running out. When Marty agreed they didn't have much time, they got a stronger drill bit and went back down, and the show ended. It will be up to the season finale next week to figure out if they finally got through and found something more than just more wood. The excitement on Oak Island was palpable, more so than it had been in recent years. The island, with its centuries-old secrets buried beneath layers of history, has been the center of obsession, curiosity, and heartache for generations of treasure hunters. But now, standing at the edge of the garden shaft, Rick and Marty Legina couldn't shake the feeling that they were on the verge of a historic breakthrough, something that would forever change the mystery of Oak Island. The garden shaft, a relatively unassuming feature when compared to the infamous Money Pit or the enigmatic Nolan's Cross, had been largely overlooked for years. It was a remnant of old attempts to mine treasure, but until recently, nothing spectacular had come of it. That is, until a series of strange readings had caught the eye of the team. The seismic tests, the ground-penetrating radar, all of it pointed to the possibility of a large underground chamber right beneath the shaft. It was deep, buried under centuries of silt, stone, and Oak Island's notorious flood tunnels, but it was there, and it was close. The night before, the team gathered in the war room, poring over the latest scans and data. Dr. Ian Spooner, their geological expert, tapped on the screen where a faint, rectangular shape was outlined. There's something down there. It's not natural. The structure is too clean. Marty, ever the skeptic but never one to dismiss evidence outright, leaned in. Are we talking wood beams? Stone? What kind of structure? Spooner shook his head. We won't know until we get down there. But whatever it is, it's big, and it's directly under the garden shaft. The garden shaft had been worked on before, but digging it out further had always seemed like a dead end. Layers of dirt and debris had accumulated over the years, and many previous searchers had given up, believing it to be just another false lead. However, with modern technology on their side, the Laginas and their team believed they might finally be able to unlock the secrets hidden beneath Oak Island's surface. The next morning, the drilling rig stood tall, a behemoth of steel and hydraulics, as the team prepared to delve deeper than they ever had before. Rick stood by the shaft, peering down into the darkness. The cool morning breeze rustled the trees overhead, and the island, usually so quiet, seemed to hum with anticipation. He had always believed in Oak Island's mysteries. From the time he was a boy and read about the treasure in Reader's Digest, something about the island had called to him. Now that calling felt stronger than ever. "Lower the hammer grab," Craig Tester's voice boomed as the rig whirred to life. The massive claw-like device descended into the garden shaft, scraping at layers of earth that had not seen the light of day in centuries. The team watched intently, their eyes scanning the monitors for any sign of change. It didn't take long. "Stop." Rick's voice cracked like a whip. Everyone froze. The monitors showed something odd: wood. A thick, solid beam, preserved in the damp earth. It was too deep to be a modern placement. This wood had been there for a long time. Gary Drayton, metal detector in hand, rushed forward. His eyes gleamed with excitement. If there's wood, there's a structure. And if there's a structure, who knows what's down there? Carefully, the team extracted a portion of the beam. It was dark with age, but intact, too intact for something that had been buried in such a tumultuous environment for centuries. Marty ran his hands over the timber, brushing away centuries of dirt. "This is old," he muttered, more to himself than anyone else. "Could be part of a tunnel system. Or a chamber," Rick finished, his voice hushed. It felt surreal, standing there on the edge of something that could be monumental. For so long they had come close only to be met with disappointment, cursed by false hopes and endless layers of debris. But this felt different. This felt real. The drilling resumed, each scoop of earth bringing them closer to whatever lay beneath. Hours passed, tension mounting with each movement of the rig. And then, as the sun began to dip below the horizon, the hammer grab hit something solid again. But this time it wasn't wood. "Metal," Alex Ladina said, eyes wide as he peered at the screens. "We've hit something metal." Everyone rushed forward, a flurry of voices and excitement filling the air. The grabber pulled up a corroded metal object, large and oddly shaped. It was too early to tell exactly what it was, but its presence was enough to send shivers down the spines of everyone present. Could it be part of a treasure chest? Or perhaps an ancient tool left behind by whoever had built this structure? "We need to go deeper," Rick said, his voice barely containing his excitement. The team worked through the night, tirelessly pulling up debris, wood, and metal, slowly revealing the ancient structure below the garden shaft. The evidence was mounting. Something significant lay beneath Oak Island, hidden for centuries, protected by traps and nature alike. And now, after decades of searching, it felt like they were closer than ever to finally uncovering its secrets. By dawn, the team had exposed part of an underground chamber, its walls lined with aged wood, reinforced by metal braces. It was unlike anything they had seen before. As they shined their flashlights into the depths of the chamber, the light caught on something glimmering in the dirt, a small, golden artifact, half buried but unmistakable. Gary Drayton's voice cracked with emotion. "Blimey, lads, I think we've just found the treasure." The island, with all its history, secrets, and heartbreak, seemed to hold its breath. Oak Island had teased treasure hunters for centuries, but for the first time, the team stood on the precipice of something extraordinary. This wasn't just another shaft. This wasn't another dead end. The curse of Oak Island, it seemed, was about to be broken.